this is Joe Calloway.
This is Randy Pennington. We talk about leadership.
Let's talk about something that nobody's been talking about ever. Let's talk about millennials and maybe throw in Gen Z.
Yeah, I think we ought to throw in Gen Z. I'm not sure why we even talk about millennials anymore. The oldest millennials are almost 40. No. So it's time to give them a break. They're yesterday's
They're
news.
running companies, for Pete's sake.
Absolutely. So let's talk about them, though.
Okay.
Here's one of the things that...
Can we lay the groundwork by
Yes.
saying that from what I read, certainly on social media, most everybody can't stand them. They think they all got participation trophies. They don't show up to work. It drives me crazy.
All right, so let's go back through a couple of the myths. First off, the only people who are complaining about millennials and Gen Zs are old people.
Old people, yep.
And every generation has their version of walking 6 miles to school in the snow, uphill both ways.
You damn kids, get off my lawn.
It's just the way it works. So it's just
every generation.
Every generation has it. By the way, the millennials will have theirs at one point, and in a few years later, a few years from now, they're going to be saying, we had to go to Starbucks and log on to get on the internet. I mean, so everyone's going to have their version of that. I like millennials, and I really like Gen Zs.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be amazing. I think the millennials, personally, have the potential to be the next great generation.
I think they absolutely do. I've got friends. One comes to mind in particular that owns a company that is staffed, except for 2 or 3 people, and it's about 50, 60 people in the company. They are all millennials. And Julie, the CEO and co-owner of the company, says, if you don't like millennials, it's because you're not a very good manager. You don't know how to work with them. We love us some millennials.
Every one of my clients that has, are there lazy, slackered millennials and Gen Zs? Sure there are.
Are there lazy baby boomers?
Are there lazy baby boomers?
Sure
Absolutely. I can name you 100 of them just off the top of my head. Are there lazy Gen Xers? Absolutely there are. And so it's one of the things that frustrates me is that we tend to define generations by the worst of the group rather than by the best of the group. And as a whole, this is a really good group.
So let me ask you, because this is really in your wheelhouse. How do you, let's go to something that people can take and use. What's the best way to get the best from millennials and the coming Gen Zers?
One of the things that I think is realize that they come in questioning everything. Mm-hmm. That's how they're raised. They ask questions. They're curious. And I think that you have to build on that curiosity. And it's not that they think you're doing it wrong. They're just looking for ways to do it faster and better.
Let me jump in, because an executive at a meeting not too long ago was talking about the millennials kept saying, why are we doing this? And it's like, you're doing it because you get paid to do it. Finally, they said, all right, we're going to bring you in and explain why we're doing all this. Well, so they explained it. The millennials went back, 2 or 3 of them submitted a report. The executive looked at it and said, my gosh, we're doing it wrong. That's why they were asking, why are we doing this? Because they thought this makes no sense, and they came up with a much better way to do it. They do question.
They do question, and see, I think that ultimately is a good thing.
Sure it is.
Because they're forcing you to get better. They're looking for a way to help your organization, whatever type of organization it is. They're looking for a way to help you get better. The second thing is they're really wanting experience. They want development. Yeah. They want feedback. So people go, well, they take too much of my time. Well, it's because they want to get better. They want feedback. They grew up knowing that feedback and improvement are just what's required to get better.
Exactly.
And what's required to succeed. So they're not being demanding unless you think wanting to get better and asking you to help is demanding. Well, then you have a problem with them. But I think that you can just give this generation lots of latitude. They're digital natives. They understand where the world is going. And you just got to realize that they are the future of your business. So Give them experience, give them feedback, expect them to question, realize they will work for a cause or a leader that they believe in.
Yeah.
They're going to demand more of you as a leader than any other generation.
Final comment on this. There was a millennial now is at the upper end. He's at close to, well, now he's probably in his mid-30s. But he was talking to a group of CEOs. I was also on the program with him. And he said, you got to let go. I mean, he was giving it to them. He said, you've got to let go of, we're doing it right and these kids are doing it wrong. No, we're doing it different. And our different is the way it is going to be done. And you guys can either adjust to a changing world, which the world always has been and always will, or you can be stuck in the way you've always done it. One will work better than the other.
Let me piggyback on that just a second. The baby boomers, we
Yeah.
grew up being the biggest generation that drove everything.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The math doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
Everything that you love or everything that you hate about this generation, the millennials and the Gen Z, first off, realize it's our fault or our responsibility, either way you want to look at it. But also realize that us not liking it really doesn't matter. The math is in their favor. We have to adapt.
Yeah. So if your position is, I don't like it, well, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to continue not to like it. That's not much of a strategy.
No, you got to change. And they are the future of your business. Realize that everything that you look at as change and rapid, they have a different word for it. Normal.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, we'll see you next time.